What's going on, traders? Welcome back to another video here on my channel. Thanks once again for tuning in as always. So today we're going to be looking at the stock ACB, and I'm going to be walking you guys through this chart as I normally do in many videos. And the reason I want to talk about this particular stock is for one, it's picked up in a lot of strength recently, but more importantly, I believe I see a long developing play coming into effect, and that's what I want to talk about right now. So the first thing that we have to do before we get into this video is first you got to smash the like button so we can go ahead and get started. So make sure you do that, and now let's jump into it. So as you see here on the chart, this is ACB. So this is Aurora Cannabis. Many of you guys know a lot of the weed stocks, recently, there's been a lot of hype around them. You get the point. But more importantly, what I'm seeing here develop is something that's very bullish. So what we're looking at here, this is a 3-year chart, 3-year weekly chart. Obviously, you guys see it went up, came down, back up, back down, back up. So if you look in the long term, what appears to be forming is arguably a bullish pennant, really big bullish pennant. From a longer term time frame, it appears we have a pretty big bullish pennant forming. Now, it's not going to be right away that this breaks out, but I do feel in the future we're going to be looking at a pretty strong move that pushes ACB up just like so, probably over highs of 12 and over highs of 13. So it's going to take a while to do so, but I want to obviously come out and make this video so that you guys can keep this on watch in the coming weeks to months. This is very similar to the video I did on Cron a long time ago, mentioning that Cron was probably getting ready to break out and then ended up running all the way to 20. And that was a really good play that I seen developing, a long ways out. And this is kind of the same scenario I believe is coming into play. So right here's a 3-year chart. Now let's go ahead and we're going to shrink this down to just 2 years. And we're going to put it on a daily chart now. So we're going to do 2 years, 1 day. All right, so now that we're on 2 years, 1 day, we're starting to see a little bit more price action, a little bit of the nitty gritty, and not such a clean chart. All right, so what we see here is obviously down, up, down, up. So we have our resistance obviously all in this zone up here. So let's do that cleaner. So resistance, sellers, all in this zone. So this is kind of the supply zone. And now down here within this section is where we're looking at the demand. So demand for the stock is obviously all the way down here. So what's the likelihood that ACB comes all the way down to here, right? A lot of people, looking at this chart, will be like, oh, I would love to buy ACB down here, right? Great buy. Every time it gets down there, it goes back up. But you have to tell yourself, what's the likelihood that after ACB is picked up in so much steam and momentum, and you can look down here, you see the volume. Volumes are becoming very heavy and a lot more of it. So it's becoming way more actively traded in this current day and time. So looking at this chart, you would go, yeah, this is a good buy down here. Well, that's a no-brainer, basically looking back at the history. But the likelihood that it comes all the way back down there is not so likely. What we're probably going to see is something like so. This is truly where the new demand zone is going to be, right in this level. Okay, and arguably right here. So what I do believe we're seeing develop is a longer term pattern of a cup and handle. So the bullish pennant, long-term developing bullish pennant, with inside the longer term developing bullish pennant, I believe we are starting to see a shorter term time frame cup and handle pattern that's going to develop like so. And we're going to end up soon seeing ACB push into new highs. Now, of course, I could be wrong, and this thing could come crashing all the way back down to 2. Of course, we know that anything can truly happen in the market given the right news and the right catalyst. But as long as things stay normal and things keep chugging along the way they have been, I do believe we're going to start seeing a sell-off here on ACB that brings the stock back down into the demand zone around 8. And as you guys have learned previously in many of my videos and other YouTube videos, old resistance becomes new support. So where is the old resistance in here? Boom, boom, boom. So as this comes back down, we're probably going to see buyers start coming in here around the price of $8. right around that level. And also, why would we be seeing buyers come in right around that level? Because $8 is the most recent breakout, meaning that's where a lot of the buyers stepped in and came in. If we zoom in here, look at that. Over 130 million shares of volume traded right there. And granted, it's not all buying volume. There was some selling volume there, but you can see that's a massive volume spike right here on the breakout. Means that there's fresh buyers that came into the stock right around 8. Meaning next time it gets down there, those buyers are probably willing to buy at that same price. So they're probably going to create a level of support right around that $8 mark. And if they do so, and they do successfully create a level of support there, we would then see the stock start to hold around here and probably bounce. And then if it starts to curl up and picks up in steam, what is that developing? A longer term developing cup and handle pattern that hopefully breaks to the upside. Now, I know this is a long ways out and many things could happen, and how can you predict all that? Well, you can't predict every move, but if you take a step back and kind of look at the longer term developing play, that seems to be what's occurring. Now, this thing could drop here, go up like that, pop up to here, then come down, and then do all that, and then it gets down to here, and then it goes, right? Or it could come just straight back down, hold, and then it goes, or it could just do this, right? We don't know exactly how it's going to play out in the short term, but in the long term, if you take a step back and look at it, that is what it believes. That's what I believe could be occurring here on the stock. Now, of course, it could change, but as I go forward here with ACB, I do believe that's something that we're going to see, and that's something I'm going to be looking for here and keep it on watch. So I recommend you guys doing the same. I hope this plays out the way I think, and I hope everybody can make a little bit of a couple pennies on it or something. But so far, we're seeing ACB pick up. A lot of the weed stocks, they've been hyped up, they've been hot. So as long as things stay on track, no extremely negative news catalyst comes in and affects ACB stock, and it keeps doing what it's doing, I think there's a good chance we could be seeing ACB into new highs here within, relatively the near future, right? A couple months, maybe 2 or 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. I mean, that's obviously long term, but not too long, right? So keep your eyes on ACB. Hope you guys like the video. And as always, thank you guys once again for tuning in. And I would like to hear from you guys in the comments section below. Do you believe we're going to be seeing ACB breakout, or do you think it's going to turn into a dud? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks again for tuning in, and stay tuned for the next one.